Hello everyone and welcome to The No Show. I'll be your host Nathan Orenstein, and today I'm going to be reviewing I Love Boosters. I Love Boosters is written and directed by Boots Riley and stars Keke Palmer, Naomi Ackie, Taylour Paige, Poppy Lou, Eiza Gonzalez, LaKeith Stanfield, Poulter, Cheadle, and Demi more. A group of shoplifters take aim at a cutthroat fashion maven by stealing her clothes and reselling them at a lower price, what they call fashion-forward philanthropy. I Love Boosters is Boots Riley's long-awaited return to the big screen after exploding onto the scene in 2018 with Sorry to Bother You. Sorry to Bother You was a film largely defined by its anti-capitalist sentiment, its absurd and entirely unexpected plot, and its bold visuals. And frankly, those are the defining features of I Love Boosters as well. For me though, I ultimately found Sorry to Bother You to be too maximalist and too surreal for its own good, almost undercutting its biting commentary and not fully fitting the story it wanted to tell. I Love Boosters, while very familiar thematically, sets itself apart by making adjustments to these same dials, turning the maximalism up to a 10, and evening out the surrealism and the force of the commentary a bit to strike a balance that I think works better as an overall package. In other words, I liked this one a lot more. Before I dive in, I'll preface this by saying that I'm not touching the plot at all in this review, and I'm going to be pretty vague and keep things short in general. In fact, the synopsis I shared at the start was taken straight from IMDb. As with Sorry to Bother You, this story takes some pretty wild turns, and I will not be the person who spoils them for you. Like I said about balance earlier though, I don't think that this one is quite as out there or that the commentary is as biting, but I think that the sacrifice ultimately makes the film feel more cohesive and palatable overall. Regarding the writing though, I Love Boosters is genuinely one of the funniest comedies I've seen in recent years. Riley is just such a sharp writer, and the excellent ensemble cast sells this humor so well. But there are plenty of over-the-top sight gags too, many of which are made possible by the incredible production and costume design. I Love Boosters is a true visual marvel with its aggressive color palette, its highly detailed sets, and its in-your-face camera work. And when you combine that with its unpredictable plot, it makes for one of the rare films where you truly don't know what's going to happen next or how it's even going to look. It keeps you on your toes from beginning to end, and that makes this one of the most unique films you'll see all year. Guaranteed. I do have a couple negatives I want to address, even if neither of them are deal breakers. If you have seen Sorry to Bother You, this movie does arrive at some very familiar conclusions thematically as that film. Obviously, the way it gets there is going to be a lot different, especially given the fashion-focused angle, but I can't help but feel like Boots Riley could have chosen a different point to try to make, rather than basically saying the exact same thing as last time. I also think that some of the insane stuff that happens in the back half of this movie could have been executed a bit better. The movie does reach a point where it's almost over-encumbered by the fantasy logic it's invented for itself, and for that reason, I think the third act just doesn't go down as easy as the first two. This is a film that's definitely going for laughs and unique visuals more than anything else, and it 100% succeeds at that, but it does mean that the story can come off as a bit of an afterthought at times. Not really the biggest issue when the movie is as massively entertaining as it is, but an issue nonetheless. I Love Boosters is one of the funniest and most exciting films to hit theaters in the 2020s, and I think that makes this a must-watch movie. Boots Riley has also once again made such a wild film feel important too with its message, even if it is a message we've gotten from him before. Regardless, this is still a great film that will constantly surprise you and have you always guessing what could possibly come next. I'm going to be giving it an 8 out of 10. If you enjoyed the review, then feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. And if you've seen I Love Boosters already, I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. I've been Nathan Orenstein with The No Show. Thanks for watching.